it's never like a pleasant thing to be confronted by another person. None of us enjoy that, but it's part of life, and I think that confrontation is, in some families or marriages or relationships, it's common, but in others, it's uncommon. Um, and I think that it's almost, if we could almost kind of reframe how we think about somebody confronting us as that's a blessing, that they're willing to be vulnerable, that they're willing to put it out there, that they're giving me the information so we can work on this. I think our response is going to be better. So just understanding the other person's intent behind what they're doing, and assigning kind of a positive intent to what they're doing, I think is really important. Even if they're coming at you, and sometimes people are coming at you, and sometimes it doesn't feel like that. But even when folks are coming at you, there's a story behind every overreaction, and they may not even be overreacting, but um, you know, part of that may be I'm just wrong, and I might even know that, and I might not, but I need to hear them out. And so just understanding that behind anger is usually hurt, and just being able to kind of relabel this as this person's hurt, and I might have been a part of that, I think allows me to kind of want to hang in there and at least listen to what they have to say. Just to kind of see where we're going to go from there.
So I keep thinking that the great thing about the gospel and communication is that in this place of I hurt others because I'm sinful and broken and I do ugly things, there's grace. And it's like this constant exchange of letting my shame be seen and apologizing for it, and then accepting grace, or seeing the other person's shame and then forgiving them, and giving them grace. So I think the more we practice just facing our shame and accepting God's grace for ourselves, the easier it becomes for us to communicate when we need to, and then accept and forgive others in their place of need.
I think when we've been wronged, we often, we want to react, and we often react way too quickly. And what we lack is a pause button, because if you could just stop and sit or retreat briefly, and I don't mean retreat like do the withdrawal passive aggressive kind of thing, but to briefly withdraw, think, just kind of get your bearings and really think about what's happened, then you're much more likely to be able to go to the other person and bring up your hurt and your anger in a productive or helpful kind of way. And so I think what often happens is the person on the receiving end of that criticism is, because there's this lack of ability to pause, is that somebody's really coming at them, and it's just like you're immediately backpedaling because this person's coming at you, and our natural thing, defense is just to defend. And so I think that's really hard, and I know across relationships, whether it's with Carrie or whatever, my hands go up real quick when the person comes at me. And so I think being able to say, I totally want to respond to that, but can you just give me a few minutes? I promise I'm going to get back to you. I want to think about what you just said, but I want to give you a adequate response, and I don't want to be reactive. I think when the other person can present the hurt and without all the anger, so I think as opposed to this, it kind of reels me in, but that's hard to do, and it's not what you're going to get all the time. So I think just a little bit of time in there between, getting hammered and being ready to give a response.